Welcome to part 3 of our series, Shook. So far, we've been looking at how we are to deal with anxiety. And so far in this series, we've looked at the last week of Jesus' life. And we've seen how he has overcome anxiety and how he has handled anxiety. But Jesus isn't the only person in this passage that struggles with anxiety, that deals with anxiety. His disciples dealt with it as well. And so today, I want to look at just one disciple. I want to look at Peter. And what's interesting about this is while they're at the Last Supper, Jesus is telling the disciples that some of them will betray him and deny him. And Peter speaks up like he always does. He says, Lord, that's not going to be me. I would never deny you. And Jesus says, oh, really, Peter? You are going to deny me. And not only are you going to deny me once, but you're going to do it 3 times before the rooster crows. So he's saying, you're going to deny me 3 times pretty quickly. Peter's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And so Jesus gets betrayed by Judas. He gets taken into custody. He gets taken into court. And then we catch up with our buddy Peter. And Matthew 26, verse 69 to 75. I just want to read this. Now Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard, and a servant girl came up to him and said, you also were with Jesus the Galilean. But Peter denied it before them all, saying, I don't know what you mean. And when he went out to the entrance, another servant girl saw him, and she said to the bystanders, this man was with Jesus of Nazareth. And again, Peter denied it with an oath. I don't know this man. After a little while, the bystanders came up to Peter and said, certainly you too are one of them. Your accent betrays you. He says, because of your accent and the way you're talking, we know that you're with Jesus, that you've been with Jesus. And it says that Peter began to invoke a curse on himself and to swear, I do not know the man. And immediately the rooster crowed. And Peter remembered the saying of Jesus, before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. And he went out and he wept bitterly. Peter, experiencing anxiety. He has seen what has happened to Jesus, being taken by the leaders and put on trial. And he's scared. He doesn't want what's happening to Jesus to happen to him. And so when people are like, hey, I thought I saw you with Jesus. He's like, not me. Not me. Like, I'm good. And he does exactly what Jesus said he was going to do. Peter, when anxiety came, resorted to fear. He was overcome with fear for his own life of what was to come of him if he were to admit to knowing and walking with Jesus. I think when we experience anxiety, we have a similar choice, a similar path that we can go on. We can be like Jesus and to be strong, to be bold, to persevere through anxiety. And Jesus gets it right. But Peter, on the other hand, doesn't. Peter flees. He runs away. He denies. This is Peter, the man that Jesus said, you are the rock that I will build my church upon. The rock that the church is built upon denies Jesus 3 times. We have a choice. Are we going to be bold in the face of anxiety, or are we going to cower to fear? Are we going to get so focused on ourselves that we forget the bigger picture? I think that's what Peter was doing. When anxiety comes, it can sometimes take our focus off of what it should be on, and it can put the focus squarely on us. When anxiety comes, I don't think about the people around me and I forget about the bigger picture, and I forget to focus on Jesus, and I only focus on me, on what gets me to the next day, on what keeps me safe. Peter was doing the same thing. He was focused on what is the best thing for Peter. Guys, I pray that our response is not out of fear, because when we respond out of fear, it shifts our focus to ourselves, and we go into self-preservation mode, and we miss the point. If Peter would have been able to stand with boldness and say, yeah, I was with that Jesus guy, and I was with Jesus of Nazareth, and he did incredible things. He's the Savior of the world, and you just killed him. Imagine the witness that he would have had if he would have stayed bold in the midst of anxiety. That's our choice. When anxiety attacks, are we going to be self-centered, self-focused? Are we going to cower to fear? Are we going to stay true and bold and obedient like Jesus? Jesus or Peter? One of them gets it perfect and one of them messes it up terribly. It's my prayer that we learn from Peter's mistake, because God still did great things through Peter. But I want to learn from his mistakes so we don't make the same ones.